Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would finally do my fall knitting plans. And so every time I do one of these, I always like to say that it's more of an inspiration type of video more than anything else. So there are some that will definitely get knit up, and the rest of it I may never get to them, or maybe I will next year. I don't know. And usually I tend to have a ton of patterns. I don't have that many today or this time around. I do have some like accessories and stuff, but I have one, two, three, probably 7 or 8 garment patterns. And I have a couple that I've already cast on, and I have yarn for some of them also. So let's just get into it. I'm going to leave the link to the Ravelry bundle below in case you're interested in any of these patterns. And we should just get started. So I'm having some type of allergy issues again today, so hopefully that doesn't sound too bad in my voice. Also, I did not cover up my scar, my burn scar. It's still there. She's still there. So I have to like be strategic about how I place my hands just to make sure that you guys don't get to see that. But anyway, the first pattern is the Rosie Sweater by Leknit. This was just recently released, but I think in the last video that I did, I had put it in the Ravelry bundle, but I don't think I've talked about the pattern yet. But it was just recently released. I've been eyeing this ever since she started teasing it, and it's just absolutely stunning. So I had the Harriet sweater by her on my mind before, but I actually think I want to knit this one even more. And from what I can see, I think it's done in like a contiguous sleeve shaping. So that way, when you work the roses, the whole entire color work is just done in the round. And I love that. And I've also been really loving contiguous sleeve shaping these days quite a lot. So she used Sanisgan Timpergent and Tin Silk Mohair. So it is a DK weight gauge, and it comes from extra small to 5XL. It's knit on 4.5 and 4mm needles. So let me see the bust circumference. So it comes from 103 centimeter to 160 centimeter. And there's already a ton of people who have cast on. There's about almost 50 projects already. So I think a lot of people have been waiting on this pattern, but I don't blame them because it's absolutely beautiful. I want to do something similar. Like I'm thinking, I like the background color, but I don't know that I want my roses to be brown. I think I would like to do red roses. But then I've also been thinking about doing a bit of a strange color combination where I do like a light sagey green together with like a darker purpley color for the roses. I don't know. I just need to do a swatch. I need to do a swatch so I can really figure out how it's gonna be like. Or maybe I just do a white main color and red for the roses. But I don't have the yarn yet, so I don't know when I'm gonna get to cast this on. I'm also tempted to use the recommended yarn, but it's so pretty. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. But anyway, that's the Rosie Sweater by Leknit. This next one has been a bit of a journey with me because I actually cast this on probably 2 years ago now. This is the Piske by Vita Romanikova for Woolfolk Designs. And I already cast this on. It's actually packed away right now. And it's just been in hibernation. So it's just an all over, it's like a super long cardigan. It's about slightly above knee length, and it's done in Woolfolk Tage, which is their worsted weight mohair yarn. It doesn't have any silk in it, and I've used that yarn before and liked it. So I have the same exact yarn in the same color as the model because that's the vibe that I was going for. And it's actually knit bottom up. But because of the endless stockinette, I haven't finished it. So right now I'm about maybe an inch away from splitting the front and the back. So that way I have to knit the back separate, knit the two front separate. And the way this is constructed is that you work you work flat all the way up, but you're also working the band, the front bands. There's no buttons on this, there's no buttonholes, but you work that in actually just one by one rib. But then you do some slip stitches on the edges to make sure it doesn't roll. And then for the fronts, there's a lot of short row shaping going on that you have to do um, to, I guess, give it a really nice fit. And then I think you graft the band together at the back neck once you're done. So there's a lot of steps to it once you get to that point. And also, I think there's some decreases as you go up. Or are there increases? No, I think there are decreases as you're working your way upwards. So I just need to get this back on the needles and finish it because I think it's going to be the coziest fall knit ever. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the color, the yarn, it's just everything. So I don't know why I haven't finished it yet. So this is my sign to dig it out and actually get that going. So it comes in 6 sizes, bust circumference 44 to 64 inches, and it is knit on 4.5 millimeter needles. So I would say it's a really easy pattern, but you do have all of those short rows to do. So if you're not really into German short rows, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, I would always recommend German short rows to anyone who's a knitter, honestly. It just really gives it a really nice fit. And the good thing is that you have so much stockinette to do before you even get to the shaping, portion of it. But I think an important thing about this design is to keep track of the rows because the pattern tells you on what rows you have to do the decreases as you go up, I think, instead of inches. So yeah, that's one thing to note. But that's the Piske. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Next up is my Ovie Sweater, which is my own design, which is the first ever sweater pattern that I came out with. And I want to use this yarn. This is the same yarn that I used to design it. It's Unling #1, which was sent to me to design it and also, gifted for the test knitters. And they sent me more yarn. I think I shared this in the last episode, 2 episodes ago, as like an acquisition. But I've wanted to knit this because I've got a theme going on. This color that I'm wearing is one of my absolute favorite colors right now, and I want to knit everything up in this color. So this is the same yarn. It's only #1 in the color wine. It's 2722. And I have about 7 skeins of this to make myself another Ovie sweater. I think, oh, this is going to be perfect for the fall because the two that I have one that is, what is it? Like more spring appropriate. And then the second one is a dark gray. So, oh, I've been wanting it in this color for a very long time. So I'm going to cast it on and just work on it slowly. It doesn't really matter if it's not done by the fall. And it's just a simple, I guess I'll give you the specs of the pattern. It's just a simple stockinette knit, it's drop shoulder, V-neck, and all the finishes are done in 2x2 rib. And as with all of my patterns, it comes from extra, extra small to a 6XL and a bust circumference of 100 to 172 centimeters. So it's a DK weight gauge. And yeah, it's a very simple knit. And I can't wait to knit myself another one. Just, even though I love the other two colors, I just really feel like I need another one. And I might in the future maybe need a dark brown one or a black one as well. That would be stunning. All right, let's move on. The next pattern is the Port Jacket by Ozetta. I've actually talked about this one before in when was it? Probably when the pattern came out and I had actually cast on. So it calls for Eastex Let Lupi, which is a very rustic Icelandic yarn. It's a worsted weight and it's knit on 5mm needles. So this is also a drop shoulder that's shaped with short rows, and I had cast on with the Let Lupi that I had in my stash, but I hated the color. I don't know why. I just absolutely hated the color. And I also kind of felt like I wasn't going to get that much wear out of it because Let Loopy is the only yarn I found that I really react negatively to. It is so bad. But I was thinking at the time that because, it's a cardigan or jacket, I'm going to wear something underneath, but I still feel like the neckline is going to irritate my neck quite a bit. So because of that, I don't think I'm going to use Let Loopy anymore. I think I'm going to go to my trusty Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool because I checked the project page and this already has tons of projects. And I saw that a few people had used Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool, but I think I'm going to knit mine at a bigger gauge and hold it with mohair. But I just don't know what mohair I would end up using. I just need to think about that. Maybe something by Knitting for Olive. I'm not sure. But I don't have any mohair in a similar color that would work because I want to do Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in the color oatmeal. So I have to figure out what mohair color would work well with that. But this has a finished bust circumference of 42 to 62 inches and it's from extra small to 5XL. But yeah, it's just really, really nice. And of course, the toggle buttons, that was really popular last year. I would be interested to see if a lot more designers use more toggle buttons this year. But it was everywhere last year. Everybody was using toggle buttons. But that's the port jacket. Oh, also, I want to change up the neckline. So this, or the collar, this has a folded collar. And even though I like it, I feel like it looks a little bit bulky. So I think I'm just gonna go for just a single whatever. I'm not gonna fold it over. And she has the port, I think she came out with the port cardigan as well. And that doesn't have a folded neckband or whatever. So that's what I'm gonna go for. I really, really like it and I think about it frequently and I think I just need to go ahead and do it. So that's the port jacket. Next up we have Burnside by Woolfolk and it's designed by Taylor Harris. Actually, this is also one that has been in hibernation for quite a while. And it's mostly just my fault, honestly. I don't know. It's just so this is oh okay. I just dropped one. I'm really trying not to lift up my left arm. I should have covered it. And it's not because of this because the scar is like ugly or whatever. It's just that my skin hasn't healed up so the scar looks like flesh. So I don't want to like scare you guys by lifting my arm and you having to see that. But this is Woolfolk Luft, right? Yeah, Luft, because I don't have the ball band. And this is a color that they had just come out with right around the time this pattern was in progress. I think this is L26. I'm pretty sure. But it's just absolutely stunning. It's very heathered blue shade. It's beautiful. And the pattern came out all the way back in April. So I actually cast on. So let me just share that with you because I don't think I've shared the whip at all before. And it's because this is probably my 5th time casting this on. It's been a journey. So this is what I have so far. Um, it's a drop shoulder construction and it's got the bubbles in the center and then you have cables on either side and you also have double moss stitch. But this, I can't tell, this yarn is so satisfying to knit with and the color makes me really, really happy. And because of that, I feel like I have to finish it. But the problem I'm having is with my bubbles. I just kind of realized that I hate knitting bubbles. I just absolutely detest them. And I think it's also because it just really bothers me that my bubbles are not all the same. I mean, I know that they're not going to be identical, but some of them just look so wildly different from each other that I'm like, what is this? And because of that, I ripped back so many times, cast on all over again. So This is actually size 1 that I'm knitting up because I just also couldn't get gauge, and I felt like, okay, I don't want to knit this using a needle that's too small, because this is a 5.5, I think. Yeah, so just because this is a bulky yarn, and I think it's going to make the knitting experience a little bit more difficult. So I'll just cast on a size 1 again for that. And my bubbles are still looking really, really bad. I've tried so many different methods. I've tried their method that's listed in the pattern, and I've also tried on another method that just a video that I saw on YouTube. Now I'm back to doing their own method. So I don't know. I just need to let go of the fact that in my head I want them to look perfect. But now that I'm looking at it, there's a particular bubble that's just so bad that I'm just thinking, what is this? But I just need to let go and just finish it up. But I'm almost done with the back section. Almost there. And I feel like maybe the cables, I don't know if you can see the cables properly just because of the color of it, but it's so, so beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Okay, I'm just gonna put that on the ground. But that's the Burnside. I don't know if I gave you the specs already, but it is knit on 5.5 millimeter needle, and it comes from a size of 1 to 11, and it's 41 inches to 77 inches, and it's a bulky weight yarn, so it definitely knits up really fast. So if you guys have any tips for bubbles, just please let me know, because I'm just at the end of the day, I just need to just let go and just continue and not worry about what the bubbles look like. By the same time, I would like for them not to be twins, but just like sisters. I don't want one bubble to be huge and another one to be like teeny tiny, because that's exactly what we have going on here. But I don't want to rip back. I'm thinking it's in the back for now, so it's fine. But if I can just figure out a way to make them look better, that will make me so happy. Because when I look at the pattern photos, like their bubbles actually look perfect. They're like perfectly rounded too. So clearly I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. But anyway, I would say that it's just a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's very easy, honestly. Because the cables on either side, it doesn't require that much work, and I think it's the chart isn't very long either. So, and also the bubbles, I think it's only like a 4-row repeat or something like that. But anyway, that is the Burnside. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this guy right here, which I showed you in the last episode, which is my own design, which is the Ovie Sweater. We have a lot more progress on it. Look at this thing. So I've joined in the round. I've done like 2 more repeats in the round, and I've done the neckline. So it's just a simple, well, I don't want to say simple because it is cables, but it is drop shoulder and shaped entirely with short rows. And so I've worked out all the charts because I want this to go into testing like early next week. So if you go on my Instagram, I'm going to do a test knit call on my Instagram stories, just because it's going to make it easier for me that way. But I'm using this yarn, which is La Mana Como Grande and La Mana Premia together. And this is my first time doing a gray cable sweater. I'm pretty sure, like an all over cable sweater. But yeah, these 2 colors together, it's absolutely beautiful. And as I'm filming this right now, there's already been some controversy. So if you don't follow me on Instagram at all, maybe just go on Craft Snack on Reddit and look at all of that. But basically, a designer that I've been test knitting for a very long time, that I knit the Boreas sweater, her mother, who designs with her, accused me of stealing her daughter's design. She was like, oh, this is the same exact design. And it's not just like an accusation, it's more of like her trying to bully me online. And yeah, that happened. And I did stand up for myself because I feel like we should never ever have to give in to bullies of any kind, because that's just not okay, because those are clearly not the same design. It's almost like saying that somebody owns cables, or somebody owns mustache, or you know what I mean? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense. And I'm very proud of this design. So, and as somebody who test knit the design, she's accusing me of copying. It's almost like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, do you really think that I'm gonna look at a design that I've test knitted and say, oh, I'm gonna make mine exactly the same as that? Do you know what I mean? And she was even saying that the center cable that I have is the same as the other pattern, and I'm like, hmm? How? Because those are very clearly intertwined cables. So I'm thinking, in my mind, she's thinking that because my design has more stitch on the sides and also has right and left leaning cables, then that means it's the same as the other sweater, which is funny because they're not even the same type of cables. And my design has regular moss stitch, and hers has double moss stitch, which is where you knit two, purl two, and this is just a knit one, purl one. And my center cables, or no, my side cables are just left and right, and then we have like a purl stitch in the middle, whereas hers is sort of like a horseshoe type of cable. And obviously the necklines are different, gauge is different, construction is different. So it was just one of those things where you kind of just have to see it as somebody, an unreasonable person being unreasonable, because it makes absolutely no sense for somebody to go after a smaller creator and try to stifle their creativity just because you feel like, what, you own the patent to like cable knit or something? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But I'm really, really proud of how this has turned out, because I mean, and the yarn combo is so nice. So this is technically going in my fall knitting plans, because I'm gonna knit another one. Oh my god, let me go get the yarn. Okay, I almost feel like you won't be able to see this color properly, so I haven't taken pictures of it yet because I literally just received it, and it's Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Brown Bear, and the mohair also in Brown Bear. So I'm gonna be knitting another. I don't want to bring it too close to the camera because I know it's not gonna focus, but I'm gonna be knitting another sample in this color, and also gonna be working on the cardigan version. So the cardigan version for this one, because I obviously have these V cables right in the middle. If I were to do the cardigan version, I would have to basically, you know, slice it down the middle, and then it wouldn't be a V anymore. So what I was thinking, I think I mentioned that in the last video, did I? Was that the goal would be to switch it around so that the V cables go on either shoulder, you know, and then we'll have something else on the sides, and then of course we'll have something else in the middle, and then we'll have the button band, of course. But it's going to be a round neck cardigan. I just want to get this into testing first before I even think about focusing on the cardigan version and all of that. So, and this will also come in all the sizes that all of my patterns come in, which is extra extra small to a 6XL. So make sure you follow me on Instagram to figure out I don't know when, maybe on a Monday or on a Tuesday next week is when I'm gonna post the test call. But I have to really, really go through all the charts to make sure that everything is the way that I want it before it goes into testing. So it's an Aran weight gauge, so any Aran weight yarn would absolutely work for this. But I'm just so happy. And Ovie, so this is Ovie Sweater. Ovie actually means king. So technically it's the king sweater, but I love that name so much. And I just thought it was kind of fitting for this. So, you know, I'm not really paying too much, or I'm gonna try not to pay too much attention to any negativity surrounding my own work, and something I've been working really hard at. Especially because this is my own hobby. Like doing this as a hobby. I'm not a big time knitwear designer. So it doesn't make sense for anybody to try to come at me and try to sabotage my work or try to make me feel like, um I don't know, like I'm some kind of like common thief who just goes around copying people's designs. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna say that this is pretty much, it's not even, I can't even call it a side gig because it's not. It's really just an extension of my hobby. I'm not a big time knitwear designer who is making her money from designing knitwear because it's not a very lucrative hobby if you're not a big time knitwear designer. So, like, why are you threatened by me? That's my thinking. So, yeah, enough of that. Let's move on to the next pattern. I hate this iPad so much. I definitely need a new one because it's absolutely awful. Anyway, we have the Pierre Sweater by Colibri by Joanna. And I have talked about this one before. And one of you kindly gifted me this pattern on Ravelry. So thank you so much. And I looked at it. I was about to cast it on in a different yarn that I had. I think it's Host Super Soft with together with Drops Kid Silk in like a mustardy color, and that color combo looks so good. So I'm leaning towards that just because it's also kind of, fall friendly, fall appropriate, whatever. But I can't get the creamy off-white color out of my head. But it is technically like a drop shoulder, but I don't think it had short rows because when I looked at the pattern, I don't think it had short rows. So it's just basically you're just knitting like a triangle or something. I don't know. But anyway, it uses knitting for olive merino and soft silk mohair held together. So it's a DK weight and it's knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, and it comes from extra small to a 5XL. But the first two sizes and the last two sizes are grouped together. So very interesting. This type of lace feather and fan type of look is really popular, or has been really popular this year. There's just so many designs using lace and a similar lace texture to this one. So, and there's already a ton of projects. So there's already over 100 projects. I need to go and see if I can find more color inspirations. There's another one that really spoke to me in this claret, sort of like burgundy-ish color, but I already have so many things in burgundy. I need to chill with that color. I think we need to go for either the mustard or the plain cream or white color. But yes, that is the Pierre Sweater. Um, and I've yet to knit myself an all over lace sweater, so I think this would be good. I've dabbled with lace, but lace and I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship because I just, yarn overs are very important with lace knitting, and I always tend to forget to do yarn overs sometimes. And that's just, it's very different from cable knitting. Like cable knitting is very intuitive for me. Like even if I'm not looking at the chart, once I've done it a few times, I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't have to constantly keep going back to the chart. But with lace knitting, I always forget to do yarn overs. And I hate that so much. So obviously I need to knit more lace. But anyway, that is the Pierre Sweater. Okay, this one, I kind of want to do it just because one, I desperately need to knit socks. I've been saying that for a few years now. And also, I just really love all of the patterns that this designer has. It's called the Windsong by This Handmade Life, and it's a cabled sock. And I also think the color, clearly this color is having a moment with me and with a lot of other people too. But I just saw it and I just thought, wow, I need to knit that. And I've had it saved for quite a while as well, but it just has cables in the front part of the sock and then stockinette in the back. So, but it's just so pretty. Oh, and it says here that the name of the pattern is inspired by Anne of Green Gables, which is really cute because wow, I love Anne of Green Gables. When I was a child, that was like one of my absolute favorite books. Like just I've read those books multiple times. But it's so pretty, and I just don't have any sock yarn that may do this justice. I do have some sock yarn somewhere, but I don't think that there's any color that I have that would really make this pop. And but she has stunning patterns. If you are looking for textured sock patterns, this designer has literally tons and tons and tons, dozens of patterns. And she also has a couple or maybe three or four free patterns as well. But that is the Windsong. And oh, it comes in two sizes, so a medium and a large. I don't know if that's sort of like customary for sock patterns. It seems like they either come in just like two or three sizes, I guess. I don't know. Uh Next up, oh, this one. This is just absolutely delicious. So this is called the Smilga by Inez Sang, and it is a shawl. So another thing that I've always wanted to do is to knit shawls, because the only shawls that I have is probably the Sophie shawl. I knit that like twice. Or was it three times? I don't know. But I don't have like a proper shawl, you know? And I think a huge part of that is the fact that I just don't know where I would ever wear it to. I don't know if it's practical for me. Like, I'd rather have a scarf, but at the same time, I still want to knit myself a shawl, if only to say that, oh, I knit this shawl. And this one has all over cables, just absolutely stunning. And then it has the little, like, it looks like tiny little seeds, which I'm guessing is done just by doing bubbles, I guess. But it's so beautiful. And she used a yarn that I've been eyeing for a little bit now, which is the Miyak baby yak lace. So, and that yarn is held double. So it's a fingering weight shawl, and it's knit on with 3.25 millimeter needles, and it uses quite a lot of yarn. So, but it only comes in one size. But now that I'm looking at it, I think these are not knit bubbles. It feels like maybe they're crocheted after the fact. So let me just look more about on let me just read through this really quickly. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I want to say that maybe the bubble section is done with crochet, because it does list a crochet hook there. So I don't know. Huh. Anyway, it's really stunning. I'm gonna have to go back and really look at it to really get a feel for how it's constructed and read through it a lot more. Also, another thing that I've been wanting to make is more hats, because you can never have too many knit hats, in my opinion. And this is the dual loop beanie by Other Loops, which is a pattern that I have. And I actually wanted to knit one for myself last year, but I don't know what happened, and I kind of want to get ahead of the winter period and just start knitting hats now before it's actually winter. And I don't want to be like, oh, okay, now it's the time to. I mean, I already have quite a lot of hats. I probably have five or six, but that's not nearly enough, especially as somebody who lives in a very cold place. So this is just knit with, so the brim is done in 1x1 rib, and then you gradually change to 2x2 rib all the way to the top, and it uses a DK weight held together with a lace weight yarn. She used Isia Jensen held together with the Isia silk mohair. I have some Gepard Puralana and mohair that I could combine together. I think I may have some Jensen left over as well. I just don't know if it's going to be enough, but this is a very simple design. It comes in two sizes, for a child slash junior size, and an adult size. and it says it uses 273 yards and it's knit on 3.5 millimeter needles. I think the only thing that I may do differently with this one is to not knit it as high up because I tend to not like that pointy look with hats. I want it to fit on my head. I want it to be quite fitted because I'm kind of always scared that it's gonna, like, the wind is gonna blow it off because I it's not only very cold here, it also gets super 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 windy. So always feel like if something is not like secure on my head, it's literally gonna fly off as soon as I step outside. So that is the dual loop beanie by Other Loops. Now, next up we have the Rikke Scarf by Catherine Hannibal of Unling, and which is like the designer or the owner of Unling. But there's like a range of patterns in the same stitch. Uh, and there's a knitter called Handmade by RJ. She came up with it, and then the pattern I think was written up by Katrine Hannibal, who is the owner of Unling. So it's just all over very simple lace. So basically, it's like a ribbed texture with little eyelets in between them. And I think this could be really perfect for anybody who's like starting out with lace knitting. And I just really like the scarf. And it's also a lot longer than some of the other like neck scarves that I've seen. So I would really love to make this. I actually have some of this yarn left over in my stash. So I think I could maybe just use that, but I want to see. Yeah, it only comes in one size. So one size for this. And I like that you can possibly tie it around your neck multiple times. It just looks really good. So it's a DK weight gauge and it's knit on 3.5 millimeter needles. It calls for 328 yards. And yeah, it's only one size. So very, very simple, triangle like whatever scarf you want to. Yeah, these are really popular these days. And this one just really caught my eye, and I desperately would love to make it. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna make this one. But anyway, that's the Rikke scarf. Also, if I'm talking a little bit louder now, it's because I'm quite literally trying to drown out any background noise. So I hope you guys bear with me on that. We have two more patterns to go. Next up is the jacket number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I have the pattern for this and I've been wanting to just go ahead and do it for a while now, but I don't know. I had cast it on in Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. That was probably sometime last year. But I don't know why I didn't continue with it, because now I'm thinking I'm gonna just go back and use the same exact yarn. But in my head, I was thinking, okay, I want to do something that has mohair, but I don't always have to knit something with mohair. I just have to tell myself that it's just I'm so used to mohair. I'm just so accustomed to holding things with a strand of mohair that it's almost like I don't know any other way. And I was also thinking of doing the Gepard Puralana that I used for the sweater number 29, held together with a cashmere lace. But I kind of feel like I want to save that yarn for a more special project. This is a fairly simple-ish cardigan, so I'm thinking, okay, I need to just save that yarn for something else, and just go back and do fisherman's wool for this one. And I always have fisherman's wool in my stash, always always always. That's one of my absolute favorite yarns, and I definitely have enough to knit like 2 garments out of what I have. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for and just do the cream version, just like the designer did. But I'm also working on 2 other um, patterns of my own. That is, I'm working on the Zuri cardigan. So that's a lot of cardigans to be working on. That is gonna have like a double knit button band as well. So I don't know. I don't know. But I would love to do it. But anyway, it's a DK weight plus lace, so it's a worsted weight gauge, and it's knit on 5 millimeter needles. It comes from a size of extra small to a 4XL, And it's constructed the same way as the sweater number 15, I believe, where you have the cable increases. So it's a drop shoulder, but you have the cable increases in the back. And, of course, it's a v-neck. And I think this is great because it's literally just the same type of cable the entire time. You're just doing left leaning cables, but of course, you can always switch it and just do right leaning cables instead. But I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I really love the look of it, and I think I just need to just go ahead and do it. Oh, the bust circumference. So it comes from 42 to 65 inches of the finished bust. But yeah, that is the jacket number 2 by My Favorite Day Wear. Last one. Yay. Okay, this one is. Did I talk about all the yarns I wanted to talk about? Okay, I think I did. This is the Grayling Sweater Light by Knitonomy. So I had test knit the regular, what is it? The V-neck version last year, but that one uses like an Aran weight gauge. And I have this yarn right here, which I actually received this for this. So this is Gepard Purelana, which is my absolute favorite yarn. Well, is it my absolute favorite yarn still? I don't know, maybe. It's in the top 5 anyway. But it's Purelana, which is a mixture of wool and alpaca. It's 50-50 and it's a DK weight yarn. So that's what I'm gonna use for that. So I had actually cast on, but I barely got anything done. And then I started kind of questioning my choice and thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't do it in navy blue, or maybe I shouldn't use this yarn and use this yarn for something else. So I'm just not 100% sure that it's gonna end up being for the Grayling Light. I just would like for it to be, but I'm always changing my mind anyway. I may just end up knitting something else entirely with this yarn, but I do really like it. And I think what also made me want to do navy is that one of the test knitters for this also used navy, so that's what I'm leaning towards. But anyway, the bust circumference of this goes from 103 to 183 centimeters. And she used one strand of Isir Jensen for hers on 4mm needles. So it's the same construction as the other Grayling. So it's just a regular drop shoulder construction, but instead of, you're not doing short rows, you're just increasing with, to form the cables or whatever. And you're only doing one type of cable. So what makes it easy for this one is the fact that I think it could be really great as a first time cable knit for anyone, just because you're also only doing one type of cables and you're not cabling that often, so it's actually perfect. And the v-neck one that I have, I really like it, but I find that it's not for everyday wear. And also because the yarn is just so special and so luxurious that I feel like this is something that I just only want to wear for like special occasions, which is weird. But I feel like this lightweight version is it's going to be more wearable and probably more for like everyday wear. So that's what I'm aiming for. I don't know, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated on whether or not I continue with it in this yarn or I use a different yarn for it. But I think that's pretty much everything. That's a lot of patterns. And since some of them are already in progress, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, I think the ones that are in progress will hopefully get done. Obviously, the Ovie will get done because, it's going to be a pattern at some point. I think my goal is to release the pattern sometime towards the end of October, which now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like it's so far away, but August is over already. Like, it feels like my birthday was literally a week ago. My birthday was like 3 weeks ago already, which is insane. But I mean, end of October is literally only 8 weeks away. So I'm just gonna blink and it's gonna be October. So I need to get a move on with that. And then we're gonna have the cardigan version, and then yeah. So everything will be listed down below. I feel like I was just talking at lightning speed because I'm not used to talking really, really fast. So whenever I do that, I can definitely tell the difference in my voice, in my throat, all of it. And but I have somewhere to be, so I'm like, okay, I need to quickly film this and try to edit it today and see if I can get the video up as well for you guys. But I feel like I need to say a huge thank you to you guys for the like just the amount of support and love that I've gotten over the past couple of days that this whole Ovie Sweater controversy has been going on is just so incredible. So thank you so much to everybody who has left a comment on my post and like sent me a message. I'm still going through all the messages because it was quite overwhelming in the best way possible, because it just, for me, it's almost like I was doubting myself for a minute there, because I'm thinking, like, this is something that I've been working on for so long. So why is somebody trying to make me feel bad about it, or trying to take away from my hard work in that way? And it's just so nice to say that, to see that even though the knitting community can be toxic sometimes, there's always going to be that one person, that's just the way you kind of have to see it. But the good always outweighs the bad at the end of the day. The support and the love will always drown out the extra noise. And that's what I want to focus on, not on any kind of petty nonsense or mean girl behavior or anything like that. I feel like that doesn't have any place in my world or on my page. And I would not hesitate to block and delete whatever comments that anybody's leaving, or just stand up for myself, because I I would classify myself as an easygoing person, but at the same time, I'm always going to stand up to a bully, especially when that person has no basis for attacking me in the first place. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for joining me. As usual, all of my links will be down below, and I will come back with a podcast episode probably in a couple of weeks or so. So I hope that you guys have a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.